Well, hello everybody and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to be making some coconut biscotti. Biscotti are those nice twice baked cookies, very hard cookies of Italian origin, and it's a simple recipe. It just takes a little bit of time. And for the ingredients I have 85 grams of softened butter, 190 grams of plain flour, and 60 grams of coconut flour, which I'm just going to drop into the plain flour and give that a mix around to get it combined. And I also have 50 grams of flaked coconut, which I have chopped into smaller pieces. I have 135 grams of caster sugar, 3 medium eggs which I've beaten a little bit, half a teaspoon of salt and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Now the first thing I'm going to do is to put the sugar in with 85 grams of butter, and I'm going to beat that until it's a nice smooth consistency. I should say I have my oven preheating at 350 Fahrenheit, that's 180 Celsius, 160 Celsius with a fan, and I have a baking tray ready with some parchment paper. So we'll beat the butter and eggs together. And then I'm going to put in the vanilla extract, the salt, and the 3 medium eggs. Those 3 medium eggs would be large in the USA. And I'm going to beat those. The mixture will curdle slightly because of the eggs, but it doesn't matter, it will all come together again later when the flour gets added. Now I should have said I also have 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, which I'm also going to mix in with the egg mixture. And then I'm going to add the plain and coconut flour and the coconut flakes, and I'm going to mix those on a slow speed to get them combined. And that's the mixture combined. So the next thing to do is to form this into 2 logs of about 9 to 9.5 inches in length and a couple of inches wide. But as you can see, this is a very wet batter, so it's going to be a bit messy to do it. So I'm going to try to do it on this baking tray, one here and one here. Already made a mess. I actually have something which is 9.5 inches long, so that gives me a bit of a measure. And what I want to do is to shape that into a sort of log which is a couple of inches wide. And you can use a little bit of water on your hands to help shape it. Like that. And then, just to be on the safe side, with those logs created, I'm actually going to cut the paper and transfer one of them onto a separate baking sheet. And with that, I'm going to put them in the oven and I'm going to bake them at that 180 Celsius temperature for 30 minutes. Then I'll come back after 30 minutes and show you what we have and what we do with the next step. Okay, so I've taken the biscotti out of the oven after 30 minutes and I'm actually just going to spray them with some water. Then I'm going to leave them for 5 minutes. And the reason for spraying them with water, you could brush them, but the reason I'm doing that is it's going to soften it a little bit so that when I slice them, it's going to be easier to cut them. It won't crack the crust so much. So I'm going to leave them to cool down for a few minutes, then we'll come back and slice them. So I've let the biscotti, as it was baked, cool down for 5 or 6 minutes after spraying that water on them, and I've reduced the heat on my oven to 145, 150 Celsius with a fan. That's about 165 Celsius without the fan, 325 Fahrenheit. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to score a line about 3/4 of an inch apart on the biscotti, and then I'm going to use a sharp knife and just cut down like that. And I'm going to lay those on the baking tray. Cut side down, or one of the cut sides down, and I'm going to bake them in the oven again for another 25 to 30 minutes. I'll probably turn them part way through. This should allow them to crisp up nicely. These are more spongy than the traditional biscotti which I make, because these have butter in them, and traditionally I don't use butter in them, but they should dry out very nicely. So with those ready, I'm going to put them in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes, then I'll take them out and let them cool down, then I'll come back and show you the results. Well, I'm back with you now. And our biscottis have baked and I've cooled them down, and they will keep in an airtight container for weeks and weeks, as most biscotti will, or all biscotti will. So let's have a look at them and a taste. So this is what they look like when they're baked. Nice golden brown, and they should be quite crunchy to the taste. Yes, they taste very, very good. You can taste the coconut, and you get the extra bite of the flaked coconut in them. They're very good for dunking as well, in tea or coffee. And then they become very soft, obviously. So that's it for this recipe. Sorry about that. So that's it for this recipe. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below the video and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen, I will put the link to my blog with the recipe on there, and I'll also put a link below the video. And I'll be back with you with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.